What's up, everybody, and thanks for tuning in to the Y.O.D Podcast with the one and only Tough is Good, Smart is Better. Are you coachable? Choose to succeed. And then, Ajahn Ruben. Find everything Y.O.D at www.theyodpodcast.com. Thanks for listening. Thanks for following, commenting, and sharing the Y.O.D Podcast. Few things to catch up on. Actually, obviously, you had a recent birthday that just passed. Blessed with another year.
Oh yeah.
I guess one of my questions would be is, I think I've asked you this every year since we've been recording, but what were some of the most important lessons you learned from this past year? Now turning 54, what's some of the greatest lessons?
It's more like a reiteration of everything else, and then sometimes like a confirmation of things. And that is really be clear and respect a lot of, my guttural instincts, because it's almost like that sometimes during a test they ask a question, depending on what can you do. And usually the first thing that comes to you is the answer or the correct answer. Well, it's the same with considering this or considering that, because you don't consciously choose likes, dislikes, preferences, and in other words, it's like they choose you. And anytime you second guess it, which is foolish, and we do it, I don't know, our conscious mind wants to revisit, analyze, and give it a hard look. And then ultimately you loop right back to the same thing. Oh shit, why didn't I just stick to what I felt in the first goddamn place? And to even go a little bit deeper with that, it's just more of I don't know, just feel more comfortable with that. Not that I wasn't comfortable before, but it's like every time I get a bit older, and then when things do in fact reconfirm themselves, well, it's even more solid. Like, okay, well, shit, I had it right the first time, and I don't know, just more calm, more relaxed. Nothing big other than the fact that I will say I'm very, very happy that for some odd reason, it's a good reason, my body is almost like growing younger again. It's almost like regressing to a more youthful version of myself. My early 30s, really, really starting to look more like that. And I just feel real good about it. And I think that that I stuck with the raw veggie smoothie thing. I don't care what nobody say. This shit's working. And it's just a really, really good feeling. And it's like I just came back from the gym carrying this heavy ass bag. Just a motivator. When you're on point with something, and that old saying that says when something works, don't fuck with it. Well, that's where I'm at. And it's just good, And then also growing into being a granddad, I don't know, it's something real cool with that. Life is really, really good. And the thing is, out of everything I've gone through, no matter what, life is always good. And my perspective, because, a lot of my peers, and I stay in touch with, especially classmates and some Marines and this and that, it's just so crazy to be able to reflect on so many different things. And for me, I think that's the beauty of aging. I think, because I touched on this stuff before, when we were doing another podcast, but it's like, if you don't
really go for it. My just throwing out, it's a part of what you're asking, but it's a little segue, just a hint. But if you don't, in my humble opinion, live your life to the fullest each and every day, somehow, some way, and I always tell the young ones, like, chances are you're going to live to reflect stuff way more so than not, which is a good thing, but it can be a bit like torture if you look back and you got way more regrets than shit, I did that. And you just feel good with it. There's a peace you come to terms with. So I just, no, it's almost like more of a reiteration of the majority of things I've known. I had it right the first time. And, even with my expression, my presentation, or my vibe, it's like in addition to the last time. I think we did it in the temple, and there's this way more comfortable, like I said, like sitting down on the inside, but like really getting comfortable in the seat, you know, and and that's fine. So that's pretty much where I'm at.
That's dope. And that correlation, when you said that, sitting down on the inside, and it just reminds me of just the combination of everything you do from Muay Thai to even what you obviously often say when you're coaching someone from the corner. I'm saying, and you tell them sit on the punches, or you tell them sometimes you can't sit on the punches because if you sit on the punch, you're gonna hit you with something else. That sitting down on the inside, and that it's like that fighter's approach to things. And now you said you're more comfortable to the place where you can sit down on the inside. Is that same dynamic where obviously the skill levels makes you more comfortable in the ring, and with you, your brain evolving, you're getting smarter obviously as you get older, more mature, more wiser. Especially you, because you obviously look more in, you know what I'm saying, a lot of times, and you're constantly reading and constantly learning, and obviously challenging yourself and challenging others. But that's my question: is that from your maturity and your age, and in combination with the fighter as they get better and more skilled and more technical and be able to see different things, they can sit on more punches, you know what I'm saying, or stick to the stick with the push kick, whatever it may be. In terms of obviously more power without, you know what I'm saying, getting hit with something else. Is that age and maturity, or is that, or what do you attribute that to?
Honestly, all of it. And the fact that I didn't let myself go. I mean, it's so funny. I was telling Ron, for those that don't know, they're listening, my cut man, been my cut man literally 22 years now. It's crazy. Yeah. And he comes in and train and whatnot. And I was on the double end bag. I do a little bit on the speed bag, a little bit of shadow boxing. I hit Big Bertha, full power with the Power 2020, but I only do 3 sets instead of all the stuff I used to do. And I get on the fat double end bag and I work. And just as accurate, just as fast when I want to be, blasting the thing, and it's no big deal. I mean, I told him, I said, man, I'm doing less than a third of what I did before. I said, but I don't need to do all of that. And, plus I ain't trying to aggravate old injuries or even create new injuries. I'm young for my age, but I'm still my age. And, it would take longer for stuff to heal, much more so, no matter how healthy I am and also stuff. So I'm wise to not mess with that. But all of it, everything you said is just that. Like the fact that I always have, I won't lay my sword down. Somehow that in conjunction, it's almost like I got a physical connect with my past. And like a light, like like it's cellular now. Telephone used to be a line. So it's almost like a line, a telephone connection to my past, and not dragging the past along. It's not like that. It's just a connection with it. Because when I do something, I can feel it's 100% the same. And of course, somewhere down the line, I'm gonna sense where, okay, it's not the same. It's just not doing as much. There's no need to, because my eyes, as you said, like see way more and even understand more. So like the more I do it, the more I reflect and I see how it connects. And it's just a great feeling with that. It's funny, a guy, I may have been, I told you, I've been trying to help this one dude that, and I'll just be vague, without being specific, but if motherfucker hear the podcast, I'm talking about his ass. Well, anyway, I try to help people. And I see when, they might be about to walk into something that ain't going to be a good deal. And it's just my nature. I care. And the guy kind of knew as associate, not a friend or nothing like that, but always been friendly. Anyhow, so I fast forward, invite him to come to the gym, get some sparring with one of the guys. And he did good, did 4 rounds. First 2 rounds went to Edgar. Second 2 round course went to him. And he's getting ready for his first fight, and he's a bit older. And older meaning like, I think he's about to turn 40 if he hadn't already turned 40. I'm thinking, damn, you never fought, but you want to go to Mexico and have a first fight. I'm like, that's some dangerous shit. I wouldn't do it. You know what I mean? I'd be real smart about that. And but hey, teach his own. And so I felt, him as a mature man, he would get it. Well, somewhere in there, and me, I got spider senses. I mean, I train people all the time, but I've been training men damn near my entire life. And I'm talking every level to include training, bloodthirsty, old school Marines. We about to go into a shit sandwich. I got to be able to read you. Well, there's nothing for me to read you. And I can sense when you're cool. I can sense when you're full of shit. I can sense when there's arrogance. Every variant, it make no difference. Even when you try to hide it, I can still see it. I can feel it. And so somewhere in there, like, everything's cool. And all of a sudden I ran into him at the fitness center. And then there was an air of being a peacock because, he lost first 2 rounds, but did real good second 2 rounds. And I'm thinking like, seriously? Because, I let him, do his thing with Edgar, but Edgar's still a baby. I didn't put my wolves on him or anything. And I'm thinking, I expect more from a man, a full-grown man than that. It's like, where's there room for peacocking? It was a sparring session. And I didn't give you someone that, can snatch your nuts. I didn't do that. It's not about that. So I let it go. And then, because he alluded that, like, yeah, I want more work. I said, hey, dude, I got more guys for you. Just come in on Thursday. And then he took off just like that. I'm going, that was the first one. Then give it 2-3 weeks went by and he came around, and I always do the pretty much same routine. He always come up and say, hey, what's up? This kind of thing. And then his body language was different. And then he was saying how, I need work. I said, dude, I got plenty of guys. I said, I got a lot of guys, and I said, if you want to do it, it's no big deal. Just show up, let me know. And then he went a little weird and whatnot. And I'm standing there with fucking weight vest on, 7.5 pound ankle weight per leg. So that's 15 pounds, I'm walking like Frankenstein shit. He come up and then he, feint like a jab to the body and then right hand over the top. So I catch you with that. So it's this insinuation, right? I ain't in the mood for no shit like that. I'm hanging around the most dangerous motherfuckers, have been for the last nonstop 25 years. They don't ever even remotely come across some more shit like that, because we really do know that we know what we know. So I ain't even say nothing about boxing. I ain't say nothing about Muay Thai. I swear to God, I put my arms around him. I pulled him right into my face. I looked him dead in the eye. I said, man, I will Marine Corps hand-to-hand combat, kill your ass. That's what I said to him. And then I let him go. Don't insinuate no shit to me. Don't. And I'm thinking like, motherfucker, I really don't even know you. And you really don't even know me. And you thought that was okay to, what the fuck? So it's just a good thing. And I told Diego about it. I said, man, this motherfucker, I said, he had no goddamn clue. As soon as he moved, I take my right toe and put it right through his goddamn throat. And ain't shit he could do about it. But he had the fucking gall. You know what I mean? It pissed me off, but I still gotta laugh though. It's like, you ignorant motherfucker.
Like you always say, you got to know who you're talking to, know who's in front of you.
All the time. And
Never know who you're playing with.
dude, I would never, ever insinuate, hint. Every motherfucker I know that's a badass, that shit don't ever come up. Ever.
Yeah.
It's just stupid. So anyway, so it's just it's like it's just really, really cool to know that I know what I know. There's not a hesitation, a fraction of a second, like if there's a flicker in the wind, like it's like being a weather barometer or whatever that is, you can just feel and sense things, instant reflexes. So it's I don't know, some they ran into Marcos at LA Fitness yesterday morning. Wait. Yeah, Thursday. Was it yesterday morning? And somewhere in the conversation, and he was just saying how I'm like really Yoda. And sometimes I think I'm growing into Yoda for real. So
it's like it makes me can't help but think about the whole mind over matter thing, because I know you talk about it on Instagram and even on the podcast and even at the gym, just the differences in how you, like you just mentioned right now, how you work your body and then how you got smarter in terms of how you approach the different drills and things like that. Is that mind over matter? And obviously they say matter over mind and stuff like that. Obviously when you're young, and especially boys like growing into men and young men, a lot of times the matter is over the mind. It's all force. And then you don't think about things until after the fact, because it's all impulse, especially young kids. They'll hit things too hard. They'll pick up things too fast, slam things too hard, things like that. Yeah. But with maturity, obviously you think things through more. And with you, as you're getting older, you're not killing yourself. You're not destroying your body. I know you mentioned before the body fat thing. You mentioned on the podcast and also on Instagram. And you told me that story before and how you kept pushing. You didn't really listen to him, but he was telling you need fat here, and then your mindset was just push. Yep. My question is, at what? I know you personally. You have your own, not necessarily vendetta with life, but your own approach to life. Where I'm gonna go hard regardless. Obviously, as you got older, you measured that. But speaking to young people and things like that, if you could reach back to your young self and attribute some of that mind over matter thought process with training, life, anything, is there anything you would change or tell your young self to do a little different now that you're older and wiser in terms of using more mind rather than strength and brute matter, and for lack of a better word?
Yeah, I would advise myself to not be ego driven, even though that is so hard to do when you're younger, because you naturally at the highest level of testosterone, which is, evolution is how you construct and reproduce and all this stuff. It's supposed to happen, and if you're a real A-type personality, or A+ athlete, man, you got that shit like double dose, like you really do. But so it's a challenge, but I would still say that. And the whole point of it is like, with the lifting, you want to lift, you want to be stronger, and that's a man thing. Yeah. Don't rush, and everything that you do, be purposeful about it. I wish, and granted, I was, learning from the books and this and that and magazines, because there's nobody really there to teach me. And then whoever I did end up listening to, they really didn't know what the hell they were doing. But when you're ignorant, you're ignorant. You go with what you have. But say me knowing now what, if I could tell myself back in the past, understand technique. And then, like I said, with technique come purposeful movement. And that in itself would have minimized probably 98% of the injuries I've gotten. And, and that's everything. I don't care what it was I was doing. There's a technique to everything. Learn the technique, master the technique, be patient with the technique. And like I tell the younger dudes now, because I'll see them doing something, I'm like, hey, I know I can't tell you what to do and I can't make you do anything. I said, but you keep doing that, you get an injury, it's going to haunt you. They never go away. I said, I live in pain all the time. I said, but at least I've gotten into a very comfortable, bearable scale now. And I said, but most don't do that, man. It's cool right now. I said, and I even told them, I said, listen, whether you listen to me or not is in the big picture irrelevant because it's your choice. I said, but you can scan and look at some of your uncles right now. You can scan and look at some of the people that you work for. Maybe they're in their late 30s or early mid 40s. You can see a common thread in there. Most of them give up. And if you can see a picture of them in their youth, you see a bunch of studs. Then you look at them now and go, what the fuck happened? Hey, dumbass, you're going to be the same more often than not, unless you're an exceptional goddamn person. You know, my classmates, my peers and this and that, the majority of them, like, yeah, we used to say in the Marines, they just took the pack off. Fucking ain't hauling it no more. It is what it is, you know? So that would be the biggest thing, you know, learn technique, correct technique, master technique, purposeful movement, and be patient. Because the only thing out of all these injuries and this and that, all I've done is made a big ass circle back to do what I should have done right then and kept it that way, and I never would have had these fucking problems. But again, like I said, not all of it, because a lot of it was I was doing what I was told to do by some other ignorant motherfucker that I thought knew what they were doing, and well, they didn't. So that would be the biggest thing, because everything else I did in my youth was on point, you know, as far as school, reaching personal goals, work, you know, when I say schools, all the different forms of education. You know, when I made up my mind to do something, fuck off. I got it done. So that, no, I wouldn't change any of that, because I got right, every bit of it.
That's dope. I like you talk about purpose, patience, and then also technique. And that can apply to anything, both fighting and life. And it takes a lot of patience, takes a whole lot of patience to really focus on technique in order to make everything purposeful. But with that, a lot of people, sometimes you'll hear purpose and you'll hear be patient, focus on the technique. And obviously the day and age we live in, there's lots of people from TikTok to Instagram to Facebook. You can go on YouTube and see all the reels of people making fun of things or commenting on them. My point is, a lot of people live, especially young people now, live off of feel. I feel like this now, or I feel like this now. Well, now I want to do this. And there's no patience. There's really no direct purpose, because the purpose changes every few minutes. And then when it comes to technique, the technique is whatever they want to apply for that day. So when you talk about that, I want you just to, because I think it can get confusing when people think that there's no freedom in being purposeful. There's no freedom in being patient and focus on technique. They think I'm more free if I just let it fly. You know what I'm saying? But talk about what people really don't see with being regiment, with being purposeful with everything you do. It's not a prison. It's not a jail where you're not going to have any fun. It actually opens up more doors for leisure and fun and freedom. So just touch a bit on that, on the freedom of purpose.
It's discipline is what it narrows down to. And it's impossible, because it's been tried, and I touch on it all the time with human behavior, because I've always had this fascination of why do we as people do what we do? Why culture, it make no difference, but there's a common thread in human behavior everywhere. Male, female, it make no difference, right? But to be a master or high level at any activity, I don't care if you're trying to be you know, like a top chemical scientist or something or another. You're trying to be a top aeronautical engineer. You're trying to be the badass test pilot that there is, and usually they end up being astronauts or something like that. But not all astronauts are badass test pilot. It's just this unique select few. You know, and then pick any sport, pick any profession. It's something that actually, to even do it, well, yeah, you got to have the aptitude for it, but there's some inner drive and love for it, because you just got to have it. And then every aspect of it, you're saturated with it. And so with an individual that doesn't have discipline, they'll see their prison. Oh, I got to spend so much time focused on that. I'd rather do this. That's fine. Then if you're doing this, or whatever, you're like what they call jack of all trades and master of nothing. that's what you're going to be. But then when an individual can focus, and let's say you're a master of said thing, well, what's really weird, even though you stay on track with that thing, there's so much that comes along the way with it that's abstract, and it's the residual part, because it's not going to be a straight shot. There's going to be stuff going to come up in the way and knock you off. And that's character building along the way. That's a life experience along the way. That's some weird, it sounds all goofy and shit, but like somewhere along the lines, you figured out how to, catch a frog and and kill it the right way and cook it and this kind of thing and not get poisoned. They ain't got shit to do with what you discipline is, but somehow something happened while you were working on that weird ass lesson came up. It's a really way more fulfilling life, because when you do focus on mastering a certain something, believe it or not, just because of that can end up taking you around the world. I had one of my friends ask me about something or another, and she said I'm such a learned person. I said, yeah. I said, I have made it a point to talk to gurus, not just reading a damn book. I made it a point to talk to monks, not just read it in a book or watch a video. Talk to a high priest, a Catholic priest, like just curious about things, not just reading a damn book. What the hell's boring and feeling locked up with that? It isn't. It's an expanse, if you will, but it all comes together as a collective, though. That's what I've seen. Just always being on track with, honestly, martial art. Like I knew. I remember I had and I've always been a little weird, but whatever. It was like an inspiration or something or another. When I was 12 years old, I was in that last house we were in. I just started to shave, like the little hair started to grow, and I finished shaving. And I turned. It had to be a Saturday. It felt like a Saturday. When I revisit the thought, the sun was coming in, so the sun was setting in the west. Yeah. So it was an afternoon, kind of later evening sun coming through, and I turned my face to leave the bathroom, get in the hallway, and it hit me like, some can say like a inner voice or something or another. And it was crystal clear. And it said to myself, and I may or may not have brought this up in podcasts in the past, but these are the words. It's like, I will succeed in life by somehow, some way, due to fitness and martial arts. That's what I'm going to end up succeeding in life that way. I'm going to be successful. I was 12 years old, having this internal dialogue with myself. And period, that's how it was going to be. And as well as, because I was facing the sun, and I always would look when the sun go down, I'd look and I'd go, well, it's going to be over there where the sun's going down. So I'm in Alabama, basically looking across California. I'm like, because I know I didn't belong there. I said, I belong out there. And then this hit me like, I have no idea how I'm going to get there, but I'm going to get there. and I just knew. And my teeth, and I never let go. I still haven't.
That's dope. I think that's, in a strange way, just hear me out, like powerful in a way where, because a lot of times, like you said, the way you explained it, you hear that type of story, and the way I pictured it is like you hear it obviously from somebody that's from somewhere you've never seen, whether it's another country or the edge of something, and they see something beyond themselves. And I think a lot of kids that come from where you come from, they don't see that. They just see wherever they're at. They see their environment, and they don't see themselves overcoming that environment. So obviously you saw that light and you saw, I don't know what that is, but I need to be over there. So I think that's a huge inspiration to anybody. And if anybody will repeat that to another young person that doesn't see beyond that, it's like, your horizon is whatever you want it to be. Like, no matter where you're at, I'm saying, if that light or that vision or that quest to where you want to be is there if you just open your eyes and see it. So that's super dope. That's cool. Mm-hmm. Maybe think of like one of those cartoon movies like the Avatar or something. It's like, they go on a quest, they're looking at it, like, I don't know how I'm gonna get there, but I'm gonna get there. Yeah, that's so dope.
I'm gonna tell
Yeah.
you, in like a prime example, when like my close, I call my baby brother Malapet. I watched this man, and I think I talked about it once before, but I watched him get used, taken advantage of so many times for quite a few years, and it just ate at me so bad. And I waited, and he was still kind of younger, a little bit wilding at the time. But everybody's wick burns to a certain point where it's like, I'm not doing this or that or whatever anymore, right? And I could see the maturity kicking in. I could see okay, I'm over this. It's time to move on with life and grow up. And then he met his current wife. And I gave it, I don't know, maybe a year or two, because I wanted to make sure he wasn't still in wild mode. And no, they were a solid unit. And then I still saw the struggle with him doing what he was doing, but others taking advantage of him. And I pulled him in and sat him down one time, and I said, him first. I said, so how you and Dahm, y'all good? He said, yeah. I said, no, bro. I grabbed his hand, looked him in the eye, I said, y'all good? I said, it's just y'all. I said, yeah. Said, okay, all right. So then I had both of them, and I set them down. So I'm gonna fast forward. I literally walked them through how to have their own gym, their own business, their own everything. I've never done that for anybody. You don't just do that because people turn around and screw you with, you try to, I don't know, shut you down. You just help them, but then they turn around and screw you over like that. That wasn't, I knew that that's never going to be a case. And so, of course, I mean, they live up in Northern California, but I'm like, nah, I'm going to help you. And they've done nothing but thrive since. Well, he's still like baby brother to me, we still real close, and don't like my baby sister. She always call me big brother, And what's interesting, when the Thai community found out about this, because many think like, oh, well, what do you want? I don't want anything. I just want to see them do better because I'm sick and tired of them getting fucked over. It's almost like that just shocked everybody. And I'm thinking, why is that so shocking? But I just, whatever. But the thing is, those that matter, the higher ups in the Thai community, I'm close with them, and it's almost like it made our relationship even more rich because they're like, who the hell does that?
Yeah.
I did it, and that's it. And it just, I don't know, man. It's just stuff like that. But instead I was just watching others just suck blood, suck blood, suck blood, suck blood. And it's like, when is it gonna stop? And it never did, but I put a stop to it.
Is that more of a, in your opinion, a forgiveness aspect, or is it kind of, I guess, taking the power away, if you will, from the shitty soul that kind of impacted your life in that moment? Because I mean, I know for me, I avoid a lot of shit that I did in the past off of an experience with shitty souls.
Yeah. So I'm gonna just say this because I've chewed on this and chewed on this and shit, a million times. And, I like I said, I've read the Bible, I want to say about 4 times. I got from it what I needed or thought I understood, and this and that. I read through the Quran,
yeah.
Quran. Of course, all the different, they call them the fetters, or the Buddhist precepts and the scriptures and stuff like that. But the Bible definitely says, turn the other cheek. And then the others, in their own way, allude to the same thing. That ain't me. I ain't turning my other cheek. I ain't gonna do that. You blast me on one, I'm gonna remember that shit. And it's like, okay, I learned from it, because it's like, 1, why the hell I get hit in the first place? 2, how did I get hit? And then 3, how do I avoid getting hit? I'm not gonna offer the other fucking cheek, which means another way. And I'm just speaking for me. I can't speak for everybody. If you're asking me, so I'm gonna tell you me.
No, I got you.
I don't believe in forgiving people for shit either. I think it's bullshit. I think I gutturally think that's bullshit. I'm not saying to carry or walk around with this angst pit in your stomach toward them. No, it's not that at all. It's clarity in everything about that individual at that time and everything you learn from it. It's like to me, it's a personal book in my library of life experience. I'm gonna just forgive someone for fucking me over. Okay, that's about as insane as can be. Because somewhere in there, it actually feeds them and give them this skewed view. Oh shit, okay, I'm in the right. No, motherfucker, you ain't in the right. You're 100% in the wrong. So I don't see it that way. And again, I ain't arguing with nobody on it. I ain't debating with nobody on it. This is me. Like I had listened to this one dude talk about some relationship stuff. Brother too, he about my age or older. He said, I ain't speaking the truth. I'm speaking my truth. I said, shit, that's my man right there. Because it's along the same lines. Like there's no, hell no.
That's a wrestle. That's a wrestle with. I know I said we were going to end, but that's a wrestle with. Like sometimes some people will argue that me forgiving someone else or you forgiving someone else is more so for them rather than for you, because it kind of, like you said, it kind of like you can feel bad about hitting somebody unless that person says, "Oh, it's okay. It doesn't matter if you hit me," and then now all of a sudden you don't feel bad. So in a way, it kind of changes, I guess, their remorse, if you will. By forgiving, that what you're trying to say? Like it's more so.
No, what I'm saying is, so I'm a person that's of integrity and decency and good. Let's say I'm a person of the light. Well, a person blasts me for no damn reason, that person of the dark. I'm gonna forgive an evil piece of shit. Firstly, they're an evil piece of shit. Then that evil piece of shit just either seriously hurt me or almost seriously hurt me. But I'm gonna be this feeble bitch and go, "Oh, I forgive you." Motherfucker, that can actually motivate the evil to want to hit you again or feel good about the fact they just hit you. I'm like, you out of your fucking mind? Hell no. I'll never. I've never been one to forgive or forget. No.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean I go and seek revenge, but I will say if there's ever an opportunity to balance that scale on a passive level, shit.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, oh, you about to slide down into the abyss? Enjoy your trip.
Yeah.
That's what I would do. I ain't touching it, I ain't nothing. But I damn sure ain't helping that motherfucker. No, I'm gonna watch you go down the fucking hole. Because that's where you deserve to be. It's just evil. I will never, ever fucking support, fuel, encourage evil. That's what it is. I learned the hard way. There's no such thing as doing right by an evil person. Hell no. That's what they are. Wrong. You offer the other cheek you want to, they'll take that motherfucker.
Yeah, we can go deeper into that. That's why I always like the forgiveness other cheek conversations. They're dope because it's something I think everybody wrestles with, but at the same time, a lot of people are not honest when they talk about that wrestle. And I think if a lot of us are honest with our opinion on forgiveness, or with our opinion on, I guess, being lenient on when somebody does something wrong to us and giving them second chance, third chance, whatever it may be. Honesty with yourself first and how you feel about being wrong, and then being honest with your wrestle with forgiveness is a very interesting topic and conversation that we can continue. I'm a listen to this and kind of try to figure out some different piggyback questions for next time.
Yeah. Now, granted, like I said, I pinpointed evil. That's different. That's a person that is a dark soul. Everything they do is intentionally that way. That's what they are. I'm not saying the average person that made a fucking mistake.
Oh yeah, I get it. I'm hoping everybody understands that we're not talking about the generalization. It's a magnitude of somebody actually fucking you over. Like, yeah.
That's a whole different deal. And I think some take this concept of goodness and altruism and go too goddamn far.
Thanks again for tuning in to the Y.O.D Podcast with the one and only Ajahn Ruben. Be sure to check out www.theyodpodcast.com. Thanks for listening. Thanks for following. Thanks for commenting and sharing the Y.O.D Podcast.